Let me start with a scene. Your plans fall apart. Someone disappoints you. The news is terrible. Your mind is loud. On the outside, everything looks normal. On the inside, it feels like a storm. Now imagine another version of you. Same world, same problems, same uncertainty. But inside, it feels different. Not cold, not numb. Calm, clear, grounded. You still feel emotions, but they do not control you. You still care about people, but you are not a prisoner of their behavior. You still have goals, but you are not destroyed every time something goes wrong. This is the promise of Stoicism when it is used for life. Not as a theory, not as quotes on the internet, but as a way of living every day. And if you want to build that kind of mind, that kind of inner strength, subscribe to this channel so you have a consistent source of ideas and tools that make you calmer, stronger, and wiser over time. Now, let us talk about Stoicism. What it is not, and how you can use it to suffer less and live better in the world you actually have, not the world you wish existed. First, what is Stoicism? Stoicism started more than 2,000 years ago in ancient Greece and Rome. But do not let that scare you. At its core, Stoicism is simple. It asks one main question: what is truly under my control in this moment? And it teaches you to put your energy there. Not in other people, not in the past, not in every news headline, not in imaginary futures, but in what you can actually choose. Your thoughts, your actions, your attitude. Everything else is weather. You cannot control the rain, but you can control whether you take an umbrella. Most of our suffering comes from a confusion. We try to control what is outside, and we ignore what is inside. Stoicism turns that around. So let us start with the central idea: the Stoic Control Dichotomy. There are two categories in life: what you control, what you do not control. You control what you choose to do right now, how you respond to what just happened, where you put your attention, what you say, how you train your mind over time. You do not control the past, other people's thoughts, feelings, and choices, the economy, the weather, the traffic, the algorithm. You may influence some of these things, but you do not control them. When you mix these two categories, you pay a high price. You get anxious about what you cannot change. You get lazy about what you can. You worry about other people and neglect your own habits. The Stoic practice is to constantly ask, is this inside my control or outside? And then adjust your energy accordingly. This sounds simple, but imagine how different your life would feel if every day you took back all the energy you gave to things you cannot control. Imagine if you use that same energy to improve your character, your skills, your body, your relationships, your work. This is Stoicism for life. Now, there is a big misunderstanding about Stoicism. People think that being stoic means being emotionless, like a rock, like a robot. That is not true. Stoics were very aware of emotions. They just refused to be slaves to them. They felt fear, but they did not let fear decide everything. They felt anger, but they did not see anger as a good guide for action. They felt sadness, but they did not make sadness their identity. Stoicism is not about killing your feelings. It is about making your reason and your values the leaders and your emotions important guests, not dictators. You can think of it like this: your emotions are like weather inside your chest. Stoicism is learning how to be a good pilot. A good pilot does not pretend the storm is not real. They acknowledge it, use their instruments, and keep flying in the right direction. Now, how do we use Stoicism in real life? Let us explore 4 practical areas. Moments of stress, dealing with people, facing uncertainty, building character. First, moments of stress. You're late. The line is long. Your boss is unfair. Your plans changed suddenly. The usual reaction is to explode inside, complaining mentally. This is ridiculous. Why does this always happen to me? The Stoic approach is different. Step 1. Name what is happening clearly. My train is delayed by 30 minutes. Step 2. Ask. What part of this is under my control right now? You cannot move the train, but you can. Use the time to read, to breathe, to plan your next steps, to send a message, to practice observation instead of irritation. Step 3. Remind yourself. This is uncomfortable but not a tragedy. Stoics were very good at putting things in perspective. You can adopt a similar phrase. Is this a small problem, a medium problem, or a life-changing problem? Most of the time, it is small. Your mind just treats it like the end of the world. Stoicism shrinks the problem back to its real size. Second, dealing with people. People will be unfair, rude, selfish, inconsistent, you included, me included. The Stoics understood this very well. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous Stoic emperors, used to say to himself every morning, "Today I will meet people who are meddling, ungrateful, aggressive, treacherous, malicious, and selfish." He did not say this to become bitter. He said it to be prepared. To remember that when humans act like humans, it is not a surprise. It is Tuesday. When you expect everyone to be kind, mature, and wise all the time, you are asking for disappointment. A Stoic does not justify bad behavior, but they stop acting shocked by it. They focus on their own behavior. You cannot control if someone lies, but you can decide not to lie. You cannot control if someone is rude, but you can decide not to be rude back. You cannot control if people underestimate you, but you can decide to increase your competence anyway. In relationships, this is powerful. Instead of, I will be kind when they are kind. You live by, I will be the kind of person I respect, regardless of their mood. That is Stoic. Third, facing uncertainty. Life is full of things you cannot predict. Illness, job loss, breakups, economy changes. A non-Stoic mind tries to feel safe by imagining every possible disaster in advance. But that does not create safety. It only creates anxious suffering about things that have not even happened. Stoics use 2 powerful practices for this. The first is called negative visualization. It sounds dark, but it is not. You briefly imagine losing something you value. Your health, your job, your comfort. Not to torture yourself, but to remember that these things are not guaranteed. This has 2 effects. You appreciate what you have more deeply right now, and you become less fragile if something actually changes. The second practice is to focus on preparation instead of prediction. You cannot know exactly what will happen next year, but you can make yourself more prepared. Stronger body, stronger skills, stronger network, stronger mind. Stoicism says, do not pray for an easy life. Pray to be strong enough to handle a difficult one. In modern terms, do not waste your days wishing for no problems. Use your days to become the kind of person who can face problems without collapsing. Fourth, building character. For the Stoics, the real goal was not comfort. It was virtue. Virtue means moral excellence, being a good person in action, not just in theory. They focused on four main virtues: wisdom, courage, justice, self-control. Wisdom, seeing clearly, understanding what matters. Courage, doing what is right even when you are afraid. Justice, treating people fairly, contributing to something bigger than yourself. Self-control, not being a slave to impulses. You can use these four virtues as a daily compass. When you are unsure what to do, you can ask, what is the wise thing to do here? What would be the courageous choice? What is the just choice not only for me, but also for others? What does self-control look like in this moment? This moves you from instinct to intention, from reaction to decision. Now, how do you practice Stoicism without turning it into an aesthetic, into just a vibe? Let us make it practical with 3 simple routines: a morning reset, a daily filter, an evening review. Morning reset. When you wake up, before you dive into your phone, take a brief moment to set your mind. You can ask, what is likely to challenge me today? Maybe it is traffic, a meeting, a specific person, a difficult task. Then you tell yourself, when that happens, I will remember to focus on what I can control: my effort, my attitude, my words. You are rehearsing your Stoic response in advance. Daily filter. During the day, when you feel your emotions rising, use one question as a filter. Is this mine to control? If yes, take a small action. Speak clearly, organize something, change your posture, return to your breath. If no, practice letting go. You can even say quietly, not mine, and return your focus to something you can influence, even if it is just your breathing for the next 30 seconds. Evening review. At the end of the day, instead of only escaping, spend a few minutes reviewing your actions like a Stoic. Ask yourself, where today did I react instead of respond? Where did I live according to my values? What is one thing I can do differently tomorrow? Do not use this to attack yourself. Use it to refine your character. The Stoics did not expect perfection. They aimed for progress. Now there is one more important thing. Stoicism is not about isolating yourself from life. It is not about sitting in a cave pretending you do not care. The best Stoics were active people, leaders, emperors, soldiers, parents. They felt the weight of responsibility, but they refused to let that weight destroy their inner peace. Stoicism for life is about engaging with reality without letting reality crush you. You still love. You still work. You still create. But you stop wasting your soul on what is beyond your hands. You will still feel pain, but it will be clean pain, not multiplied by endless mental resistance. So as you walk through your day, you can carry a few Stoic sentences with you. I control my choices, not the outcomes. This is unpleasant, not impossible. I will not let temporary emotions make permanent decisions. Let me do the next right thing well. If you start to live like this, little by little, you will notice a change. You still have problems, but you are not so shaken by them. You still have emotions, but they feel more like waves you can surf, not like tsunamis that drown you. And when people look at you and say, "You are so calm, you are so strong," You will know. You are not different because life is easier for you. You are different because you chose to train your inner life with the same seriousness that others use to train their appearance. That is Stoicism for life. Not a costume, not a quote, a way of being. And if you want to keep building that way of being, remember to subscribe so you are surrounded by ideas that help you live with more clarity, courage, and peace in a world that will probably never be fully calm.